How you doing? My name is Mark Vermillion, and I just want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about the course and just kind of share some of my thoughts on what it is that we are all going to be doing throughout this particular semester. The title of the class, obviously, as you can see, shoot, you signed up for it, you probably already know what it is, but Sociology 399, Sports Deviance and Violence. And I want to take just a brief moment to talk about a little bit about who I am. And I know when you're talking about the e-learning environment, online classes, sometimes, when you're dealing with other students or the professor, you don't get to know people as well. So this is my introduction to you all to get a little sense of who I am. Well, I am the department chair and for the Department of Sport Management. I'm also a professor. My degrees are in sociology and criminology, but since 2006, I've been teaching and working in the Department of Sport Management. And within the Department of Sport Management, I teach psychology of sport, sociology of sport, and then ethics and things like that. And many years ago, the sociology department here at Wichita State University approached me about working with their department and developing a course that was based upon my interests. My interests, like I said, having previously worked in a variety of different capacities within the criminal justice system before matriculating into academia and sport management. And so I am very familiar with criminology and some of those types of things. And obviously in my current position, I'm dealing with sports and kind of the intersection of those two things. And so I sort of set about trying to put together a course that was an information, education, and awareness course that really tries to work with this idea of deviant behavior. Now, we're going to spend many weeks talking about what constitutes deviant behavior, and then how that is going to be embedded within this institution of sport, recreation, and physical activity. The class is basically an overview where we talk about different forms of understanding deviant behavior. So there's going to be different theories, the structural and traditional explanations of deviant behavior from kind of a criminological point of view. And then we talk about constructionist theorizing and how all these different theories view different aspects of sport deviance. And then the third section of the course, we really dive into the actual issues and the problems. And one of the things that's very big in the world of criminal justice and here in sport management is application. And so yes, it's good to talk about theory. I love the stuff. It helps us make decisions. It helped me every single day when I worked in the criminal justice system. But it's good to also have some direct application, and that's kind of what this class is going to be. Why we have something like this. A course like this is purely an elective. It's not a required course for sport management students, for criminology students or criminal justice students, psychology or sociology students. It is completely a course where, since it's not a required course, we have an opportunity to do some things. We're not necessarily pigeonholed by some of the assessment processes of different disciplines. And so what I want this to be is kind of a laid-back atmosphere. I mean, there's some assessments. You have quizzes and you have deadlines and things like that, but it's a chance for us to work through the process of critical thinking, of applying different ways of understanding human behavior. Now, we happen to do that in the environment of sport, recreation, and physical activity because that's primarily what I work with. But ideally, the process of critical thinking, of using theory to make informed decisions, is a universal process that can be applied to any institution involving a variety of different social dynamics. Course logistics. It's an online course, and hopefully I encourage you to read the introduction overview that I have on Blackboard. And then I also encourage you to kind of noodle around and surf around the Blackboard site. Admittedly, I'm not a huge, techie person. I try to keep things kind of operate off of that KISS model of keep it simple, stupid in my case. So when you float around the Blackboard course, ideally what you're able to see is hopefully some clarity. There's not a lot of bells and whistles, but hopefully there's an opportunity where you can go through and really clearly understand everything. So you go to the Start Here menu option, you go to the syllabus and weekly schedule, you go to course materials, and once you get into those things, and they're all going to be located on the left-hand side of your Blackboard shell when you log in for this particular course, as you kind of go through that, if you have questions, please feel free to contact me. You can call me or email me, and I will make sure that we try to get you on the right course. When you're dealing with online classes, one of the big kind of misnomers is that, oh, online classes are going to be easier. My experience, actually more difficult at times because it's an autonomous working environment. The way that, which means, managing your time is really up to you, and that can be very, very difficult to do. If you have a, Monday, Wednesday, Friday class at 9:30, you know that, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9:30, I have to go or I'm supposed to be doing something. Well, we don't necessarily have those types of structures and constraint in an online class. So, I encourage you to set aside 1 or 2 days a week to work, focus on the course. As you start going through the syllabus and the course schedule, you'll see that I have kind of a weekly course schedule. Now, you do not have to follow that at all. Okay, this is a class that has due dates, but as long as you adhere to those due dates, you can work ahead as much as you would like. Now, if you turn in something 4 or 5 weeks early, there's a good chance I'm not going to get that graded until it's the actual due date. But you're more than welcome to pace yourself. You're more than welcome to do things at whatever, in terms of learning information and trying to go through the assessments. I really encourage you to kind of think about what it is that works best for you. If you're one of those people that really likes to do a lot at one time, or if you're someone that really needs to parcel it out over the days, weeks, months, that type of thing, just really kind of be in tune with how you learn and then how you want to administer and execute the actual parts of the class. Again, I didn't want to take a lot of time here. I just wanted to kind of get everyone thinking a little bit. I'm pretty excited. I enjoy sport. I have a sporting background. That sounds kind of odd, but sport has been something that for most of my life I've been involved with in some form or fashion, and I consider myself a sports fan. That being said, just because you're a fan, it does not mean that you cannot critically examine this institution that is so important for me and for many people. And so the idea here is to engage in critical thinking. And if you get a chance, I really hope that you read through some of the things in the introduction and overview that are posted in the Start Here menu option, and really kind of get a sense for, we're going to be engaging in critical thinking. We're going to try to understand how to examine issues and then hopefully develop recommendations or solutions for these problems that we identify within the world of sport, recreation, and physical activity. What is deviant? What is not deviant? Sadly, it's not a black and white question. There's a whole lot of gray in between here, and that is where the course really dives into. We will attempt to, you can't really solve anything in 16 weeks, but the first step is identifying how to go about looking at the issue. We will do that. We will try to define the issue so that we have a common vocabulary. And then from there, we can start to develop tools in terms of attempting to remedy or make positive decisions for whatever institution you're going to be a part of. And that process, regardless of whether we're dealing with deviant behavior or sports, is universal. And that's the critical thinking aspects. That's the decision-making aspect that we want to grow and enhance for you all as you move, not just through this class and through your academic career, but then eventually as you matriculate into the labor force. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I will see what I can do to help out. And I kind of want to leave you with this. Sports is complicated. People are exceedingly complicated. Therefore, the questions that arise from sports, that kind of deal with sports and people, are going to be very complicated. As you can imagine, then the answers should probably be equally complicated. And in order to deal with complications, we need to have more tools in our tool chest, or more bullets in your belt. Whatever metaphor really works well for you. No one ever, lost their job, or no one ever got demoted at their job because they knew too much. And so that's why I said this is an education and awareness class. The more holistically developed we are as employees, as individuals, the more likely we're going to be able to have a positive impact in whatever business-based or community-based or government-based environment we're going to choose to ply our trade within. So once again, welcome to Sociology 399, Sports Deviance and Violence. I hope everything goes well. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Thanks.